am I ready, or do I need to work on a few things first and then start this program?
Okay, so before she moves, we actually have in the packet the data strategy readiness, and it has questions for you to answer. We recommend highly that as we go along, you go ahead and answer those questions so that you can take this back, okay? So yes, and also we have a checklist of actionable items that you, as we go along to the next steps of the data strategy, you can actually fill this in so that when you take it back, you know all the steps and it's right there and what to do, okay? So that is there for you, so we're gonna go ahead and move forward.
All right, here we go. Here it is, the 5 action steps to designing a small business strategy. It's what we're all here for, and we've made it. We're here now. Okay, number 1, define your goals. Defining goals, okay? Ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish? These goals should be SMART, specific, very important. Be specific. What do you want to accomplish? Measurable, okay, because this is data analytics and we want things to be measurable. Achievable, realistic, very, when you're a small business, very important to be realistic. Sometimes, you know, we'll talk to people and they say, well, I want to increase my social media impact and I want 1 million followers in a month. Well, this may not be realistic for you if you just set up your account last Tuesday. You know, and you're not really familiar with the platform, you don't have any followers at all, you might not hit 1 million in a month. Okay, so let's be realistic. And then time sensitive. Let's put a deadline on when we want to get these things done.
Okay, so some of you, I don't know, may have dabbled in project management or know about it. So you've heard of these things. However, you'll be shocked how many companies neglect to start here, which is a big problem. Because if you think about it, what is the mission? What are your goals for said company? If they do not align, and if you don't know them, we are already in trouble. Okay? Yes. We're gonna get to that. Good question. So we are all of the mind, and we're gonna get to this too. Your metrics should not be 25 and more. We're gonna really address this. We're hitting this head on, but I just wanna give you a little preview of it. If you have in your company 25 metrics, we are already missing the target. Okay, and we're gonna discuss why. But so we really want you to understand that with all the metrics that they're asking for, and I know they do ask for a lot. If you're a data scientist or someone who's relaying information or giving out information, they're going to ask you, okay, I need to know about this, that, you know what I mean? So you're literally like crunching out numbers and data and algorithms and all kind of stuff, and it gets sporadic. However, if you can, this is the biggest thing. This is why data culture is huge, okay? You have to be able to define your goals first, thoroughly, in order for anything to work. So if you feel like you're running, it's probably because you are. You have to have a target. You have to have a point where you know where your goals are and start there, okay? And that is why we've said it so simply in a way that you can sit down and actually decide, okay, what really is our major goal? And we'll talk about, we are going to get into this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so you already mentioned the different KPI. This is the time where you're going to say, okay, here's my goals. What KPI do I need to assign to that so I'll know that I'm hitting said goal?
Absolutely.
Okay. A little note about choosing KPI. Many data projects do fail because the KPI that are chosen are irrelevant or really don't tell you anything or are inappropriate for the goal. You want to keep the number between 1 to 3. Okay, like she said, not 25 different things that you're trying to hit all the time, okay? This can cause what we call metric bloat, and it's just overwhelm, okay? Too many things that we're trying to hit. Everybody's going in different directions, trying to hit all these different metrics. 1 to 3, and everybody is pushing towards that same, it's more focused, okay, it's more focused.
Now, here's the good news, and I don't know, but here's the
Go
good
ahead.
news for small business. It's easier for you to focus in
Yeah.
a smaller setting, a smaller business. It's not as many people, there's channels to jump, not as many hoops to go through. It's typically a committee of 1 or 2, and sometimes 3 or 4 whole division. And this is what I mean by using your assets, this is agile. You can literally focus very sharply, creating amazing work. And we're going to discuss some of the things in industries that actually utilize this idea of 1 to 3 metrics for their businesses. And there are major companies that do this, and they do it wonderfully. And there are good examples. So we'll talk about that. Go ahead.
If you're having trouble picking KPI, asking KPQs, key performance questions, may help. So the KPQ is the question that you ask, like say, am I providing great customer service? That's the question. Your KPI is what is going to answer the question for you, and that will become your metric. Okay, so for example, let's see what we come up with here. Am I providing great customer service as a small business? How would I be able to answer that question? Anybody? Yes. Very nice. Customer retention. Surveys. Ask them, do you like it or not? You know? Anyone else? I like that. That's 2. We're not going to go past that too many. Customer surveys, that's what I thought about. Social media. What are they saying about you? You know, is it a good experience or not? You know, this simple things that you can do, take 2, and then that's your KPI. If you're having issues, kind of drilling down to what you need to be looking at. All right, number 2, you want to talk about that?
Data ingestion. And this is something that a lot of people feel like, well, I'm a small business, I don't have any data. You'll be shocked how many times that we hear that. It's just not true. It's just not true. There's so much data, it's ridiculous at this point. So it's just finding it where you want to find it and utilizing it. Who was it? I think somebody mentioned Google Analytics. No, YouTube. But what was it? What was the platform she used?
Facebook.
Facebook. Yes. Oh, in every social media, there is analytics everywhere. Okay. It is literally digging in and starting to cultivate that soil. It really is. It is using that as a starting ground for your data. And there's other ways as well. I mean, of course, there's the data marts and the different things you can do in that. And there's the public data sources, and you can see these are here. And these are amazing ways to compare data for your specific business. And if we have time, I don't think we may have time, but if we have time, we may kind of explore that so that you can actually see how easy it is to get data and use the data and make it actionable, okay? But I will say this, it's interesting because it's very, how many people have a smartwatch of some sort on them? Okay. Have you noticed when you first download the app, what are they asking you?
For data.
For what? Yes, they want all your information, and then they also ask you, will you allow us to track you? Do they not? Do they ask you? And I don't know if you noticed this. Many apps are going that way for a very good reason. They want to see what you're doing in terms of their business. Heineken did, okay, yeah, it was Heineken.
Yeah.
Heineken had this amazing idea where they put sensors in their bottles, but they made it like dance to music. It was lighting up and dancing to music. But they put a sensor in it, okay? So every time someone went, cheers, clink, clink, there's a sensor, so they can know how much they're drinking, how many times they're celebrating. All this information they were able to get from a simple sensor that they put. That was really not even expensive. They just did a trial run to see what would happen. They got so much data just from that. And I know that you don't think these things are out here, but they are. And again, if you build an app, they will come. And that is, I think that's something that a lot of small businesses do not realize at this point. There's a lot of things out there for you to utilize and actually get huge amounts of data. We all know big data is a big deal, okay? And we all know big data is really not big data unless it's usable data. You can have huge amounts of information, huge amounts of raw data, and if it doesn't do anything, what is it? She gave me the hint. Dirt. It's dirt. You can't, if you're not cultivating it, it really isn't big data, is it? Because if you define big data as actionable, useful data, then that's what it is. Now, there's huge companies that have so much data that they can't even put the handle on what they have. It's not usable. However, for small businesses, this is where you can shine. Because now, all the data that you start collecting on the front end should be what? Actionable, usable, right? And it's really a choice at this point. Because now you're starting from the ground zero pretty much on acquiring data, okay? So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of point that out.
All right, step 3, once you've figured out your goals, your metrics, you are figuring out where you're going to find said data. Now, 3, how are we going to make the data actionable? Okay, what tools do I need to clean, to store, and to visualize the data? Like she said, big data does not always mean useful data, okay? Small data can be useful, just like big data can be useful, but the point is that it's being used, okay? So we're gonna have to figure out how you're gonna clean, how you're gonna store, and how you're going to visualize your data. And there are a lot of tools that help small businesses do that for, low cost or free, really. One is Google Analytics. We talked about social media platforms that have analytics associated with them. Power BI is a good one. How many people use Power BI you use Power BI? Okay, a few people. Google Data Studio, Amazon Web Services. If you were at the keynote this morning, they have like 600 plus analytics. Like what?
So much.
It's out there. There are so many different tools that are available to be used. And, with a small business, you want them to be pretty inexpensive. So that's available.
And they also allow you to have a whole year free to just play. For the data
AWS
scientists in
does.
here and the people who actually like to play in data, this is like, oh my goodness. It's wonderful. And the thing is, most people don't have a clue how much you can do with the free stuff. And you don't have to go out and buy Tableau if you're not available, if you can't. If your budget is $300 for the year, I don't think that you need to be considering Tableau as your start, okay? And you'll be shocked how many people are starting from nothing and trying to get these big, and they don't even know what to do with it. So start small. And they mentioned that, I think, in all of the...
Yes, it's been a recurring theme. Start small.
Yeah, start small.
Make it easy on yourself and make it easy on your organization members to use the data and to play in the data and to start getting, acclimated.
So for those of you who are here, we actually want you to go ahead and utilize your kit. We have actually asked you, where am I getting my data from? And this is a real question. Like, if you can sit for a moment and say, where is my data coming from? And what am I using it for? Is my data big data? This is a good question. And when I say big data, I mean actionable, usable information that actually creates movement. Any external data sources. And a lot of people don't even know that you can compare and contrast just what you have with any public information. These data marks are here for you. Matter of fact, the last panel came out and said they had data available about jobs. If you were here, you would have heard it. Literally, all this information that right there at your fingertips that you can actually download and say, what? Okay, let's see here. You understand what I'm saying? It's about making it usable, accessible, and I don't think I've even touched on this enough. As this process is going on, it should be a cultivation of data in terms of people's psyche, people's agenda. It should be data-driven in the sense that everybody, and I said everybody, should be on board, okay? And I'm going to give that example later. But everybody should be a part of this. Your cameraman should be a part of this. The janitor should be a part, and I know you're laughing, but this is the truth. You know, big business will lose lots of money not talking to people, especially in sanitation.
Yes.
It's amazing. We switched to this soap because we think it's less, ask them. And this is the problem. You know, I know this is another point of, and we're getting here, I promise we're getting here, but communication is so important in anything data related. Communicate what's going on. Does anybody know? The tree that falls in the wilderness, does it make a sound? No, but I mean, really and truly, this is the point, and this is the rub. If you have all these wonderful things, and you write down all of this great stuff in your strategy kit, if you write it all down, and you haven't said a word to anyone, what have we done?
It's not working.
Nothing. Okay? So I'm just gonna keep that in your ear as we continue. Okay.
Okay, we were going to do an example, but I don't want to go over time. So if you would like to see an example of Power BI and some of the things that you can do with it using external data, we can talk about that afterward. Okay? All right, data security. No one thinks about data security until it's too late to think about data security, okay? How are we going to keep the data safe? It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's not necessarily fun, but it's a big deal. You're going to decide which data should be accessed and by whom, okay? Some people can have access to certain data. Some people can have access to other data. You know, you may not want to open up everything to all of the organization members. Many people don't think about data security until it's too late. Don't skip this part, y'all. Don't do it. Do not. Yes.
Yes, there are some free tools would help with this. And typically, and we can go through some, you know, after we talk about it, but typically, this is really more about governance, data governance. You know what I mean? So if you have a small business, it's a little easier to manage, depending. Okay, and I'm going to say depending because I worked with a small business, and it was all catastrophic. But the reality is they had about 500 or maybe a little more. Probably about 500, I think.
Yes.
And they're still considered small business, but it is hard to categorize who is in charge of what, who can see what, especially in the healthcare field, and that was the area, okay? So if you're not sure, there are tools like Calibra that allow you to do a free trial for I don't know how long, depending, you know, and then when you get big enough, you can actually buy said, you know, but there are lots of different things out there that allow you to create a metadata governance pattern, okay, for your small business. And you start small. You say, okay, there are 5 people in charge of the data. This is the data team. Ask them. Sit down and have a real conversation. I'm going to back to the communication because this is key. Who should be in charge of this data? Who are we using to protect this data? How protected is the data? All of these questions, you know, are usually too late for these bigger companies to even get a hold of. I don't know if you guys noticed. How many breaches are we seeing now?
Right.
It's getting bad, y'all. Like,
in like the last month.
But no, really, it's really getting awful because they're not. It surpassed the point of no return. Without a data strategy for your data security, what are you doing? There's nothing. There's nothing. It didn't start with the foundation, which is why we're here to try to get a foundation for small businesses to start soon, quickly, and early. Okay, with their data security.
And then she talked about breaches, and unfortunately, 94% of companies that experience data loss do not recover. This is because if you have some sort of data breach or some sort of data out, some sort of outage or whatever, you lose your information. It can be very expensive to get it back, to fix the problem. Once the toothpaste is out of the tube, it's really hard to put it back in. You know, so we're looking at, you know, between $50K and $5 million to be able to kind of fix that mistake. And so it's better to just look, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. Just think about it early. That way, hopefully, you can avoid some of the problems. And sometimes things just happen. Like, I don't know if you guys read about even Assurian had a situation where an employee took some data and was like, hey, I got your data. I'm ransoming your data here. Give me 300K. And they did it. What can you do? You know, you can either pay the money or, you know, you risk it getting out and then you probably have to pay more money. So sometimes, sometimes things do happen, whether you have some sort of a plan or not, but it's better to try to get a handle on it.
Okay, so this is it, again, in your toolkit. Make sure that you're writing this down, okay? How am I going to make this data actionable? How will I CTL my data? All that is important. What tools will I need and use, etc. And that's for the data management section. And then the data security, we also have, how am I going to keep this data safe? Who needs access to the data? Can I tier the data for different users? And this is another thing that's happening in big difficulty with, and that's tiering the data for those who are supposed to use it. It's a big deal, okay? Because now, because they're so big, it's hard to get a handle on it, okay? So that's why breaches do occur and have been occurring, and they're making strides to, get it right. But again, if you never thought about it, then there's nothing. So that's why we're here, to kind of put a bug in your ear. Hey, this is a part of it. This is a part of the strategy. All right.
All right, number 5, data culture, and this is kind of like our little passion project. We love to talk about data culture. The ability of organization members to read, analyze, use for decisions, and communicate data and insights, okay? What is really the point of doing all of this if your organization members don't know how to use it and communicate it amongst each other and to form insights and use that to make decisions? This is really the whole point of everything that we've been doing. This is it. Okay, so you're going to say, how are we going to make sure that everyone can use and understand the data? This is the part where you start creating your data-driven, this is a crucial part in creating your data-driven culture.
Right. And just to talk about it, I'm just going to tell you a little story, and I'll tell you about what company we're talking about.
No
Maybe
specifics.
Combining, no specifics. But we worked with a company, and this company was actually a bigger company, and they had different entities coming in to fix their data, to put in an infrastructure, to put in, you name it, they had it happen, okay? So they come to me like, look, okay, and I've had 3 other people come in and say they're gonna fix this. Nobody's using this platform. We have a data lake, we have Hadoop, we have all of these things, we have an infrastructure that goes across the whole platform, all of the 50 states, etc. Why is this not working for us? Why are we losing so much money? What is happening? I asked them, do your cashiers know about your data-driven discovery plan? They said, huh? No. The answer was no, and that's a problem. So if someone who is a cashier for your huge business, okay, doesn't know what your metric is, how are they supposed to engage the customer? I'll wait. The reality is, it is that important for you to go from the bottom up for data culture. Without it, you are driving to nothing. Because if everybody doesn't understand your matrix, nobody's going to use the platform available to them. So here's why I really want to just challenge those who are data analysts, data scientists, are part of a data team in an infrastructure build process right now, that you literally stop what you're doing and engage everybody. Our newsletter should go out from your team every week. Hello, we're here again. We want you to know what we're doing over here, right? We want you to know what's happening. This is for you. Come talk to us. We want to hear what you like. We want to hear what you need. All of this is should be a part of the marketing strategy. Really, really, yes.
So when I think of data culture, I think it, at least in our organization, people believe that we have data culture. Every question they have related to data is just like, oh, that's a data problem.
Yeah.
They don't like doing it on their own. So the first question, like,
responsibility.
Who owns it? Honestly, it should be the CEOs, but sometimes it just needs to be the data team. I'm just gonna say it. And this is why we're here. This is why we're so excited about this, because this is what we do, okay? So as far as beginning steps for data culture, the first thing is to start talking to people. I know, I said it. It's, yeah, okay. No, I mean it. If you're in the hallway, hey, do you know what we're doing over here? What are you doing? I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. Like, honestly, I used to go to, like, this is a true story. I went to the sanitation department and I asked some of them major players in that department. I said, hey, what are some of the issues you guys have been having? We really can't figure out this soap thing. I said, what do you mean? Well, should we use the foam or should we use the actual soap? Because we're trying to figure this out. So we implemented a data strategy for the soap. Maybe millions by now, I don't know. Okay, because what they found was people used less of the foam. Just one pump, that was it. Versus the actual liquid. 2, 3 pumps. Everybody with me? And because of that, the sanitation crew got a whole bunch of accolades for saving all this money for the company. And why? Because I asked them, what do you need? This is very simple. It is communication. It is literally breaking it down so that people can understand. And it's interesting because, I don't know about you, I've been on many data teams, and we like to talk in code to each other. I'm looking down. We do. We like to say, machine learning and all these algorithms that I created, and I'm using Python and R, and we're going all in on all of the things we know, which is great. We need to know that. It's important. All of these things create innovation. All of these things create a whole lot of things for us to utilize in the future. However, very few people understand it other than your team. So you're going to have to say, hey, what are you up to? What you been doing? Okay. What are you doing in terms of data? What are you doing that you can use our help with? I actually went to HR, did the same thing. What are the points of hang up here? We're just sick of having to input all this information. Why are we still inputting information? You can just drag and drop it. Okay? They didn't know that. It's because they're siloed. There's a silo situation going on, and it's partly our fault. We have to dig in. We've got to dig in. I'm sorry. I know.
No, you're right. You're right. Okay, so this is where I think we're going to get to your question about the different departments and how do you decide which metrics are for which department and how can that, okay, so here we go. Data strategy should really be governing the overall data culture of your business, right? So your digital marketing strategy should be for product development team and their strategy should be up under the umbrella of your data strategy. So Peter Egan says the strategy must be the business and the business must be the strategy, okay? One and the same here, and we're going to illustrate that. Here's my favorite quote. Lena will tell you I use it for almost everything, okay? I got a million ways to get it. Choose one. Choose one. We're talking about choose one metric here, and we're going to let's illustrate how some companies have done that. Walmart, everyday low prices, right? Did they promise us great customer service? No. Did they say we're going to have registers open when you need registers open? No. We said low prices, and that's what you're going to get. And if you want a low price, you're going to deal with these closed registers, okay, because it's what we got to do, okay? Low prices. The entire company embodied low prices.
Stock clerks would have told you, low prices.
Low prices. Everybody knows low prices. We didn't promise anything else, and if it's not pushing towards low prices, we're not doing it.
I got a question. Did it work?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, it works. Number 2, makes me feel so good.
Oh, yes.
Where shopping is a pleasure. Yes, it is, Publix. You're so right. I mean, everybody in there, right? You walk in, good morning. I'm toting the kids. I'm like, good morning. Do you need help with them? Well, yes, I do. I'll see you on Monday, okay? You know, that is what everybody is driving towards, that where shopping is a pleasure. All of their departments, deli knows it, right? Bakery knows it. Cashiers know it. The baggers know it.
Everybody. They know.
Shopping is a pleasure here. Now, did we promise you the lowest price?
Nope.
Oh, no. No. We didn't promise you the lowest price. We didn't even necessarily promise you like the biggest selection, right? But we promise you a great experience. And that's what we're going to give you. One metric for the entire company. Okay, here's my personal fave. No. Chick-fil-A. Chicken. Now, look, this is not the official stance from the company, okay? No representative reached out to me and said chicken. However, that's all. Okay, it would have been so easy for them to be like, man, McDonald's is making so much money over there with hamburgers and fish sandwiches, and they have chicken too. We can make a hamburger. Chicken. Well, okay. Maybe we'll just stick with the poultry and do like a turkey sandwich. No, chicken. No. Also customer service, so maybe they have two, but really chicken. It would be so easy for them to deviate and do different things and like try to expand their market. No, chicken. If you don't like chicken, you're not our customer. Everybody there knows that this is what we're doing. We're focusing down. Cashiers know it. People in the kitchen know it. The CEOs know it. This is what we're doing.
Okay, so we say all of this because this is data culture at its finest, okay? And we're laughing, but it's true. At the end of the day, it is up to you to push 1 to 3, what?
Your metric.
Metrics, please. And explain why. And I know it's harder for those who are in bigger businesses, but this is why this is data strategy for small business. Because now you can push this envelope and actually plead your case. The truth is, if you don't focus on one thing, it's hard to get anything done.
Yeah.
There is no real such thing as multitasking. I'm a mom, okay? So we believe that we're multitasking, but we're not. There's something that's dropped all the time. So when you focus, literally zero in to your target, and everybody, what was the analogy you made? You made an analogy.
Yes. Okay. So imagine that your car stops on the side of the road, right? You've got 4 people in there. Everybody gets out. Somebody starts pushing from the back, right? Somebody else comes and starts pushing from the left. Somebody comes and starts pushing from the right. Somebody's coming from the front. Where are you going? You're not going anywhere, okay? Because everybody has to get around the back of that car and focus that effort into that one goal. And this is, it's about communication. It's about teamwork. But this is where you choose that one direction and you go there. And when you show success, which you will, when you show success on that one thing, it's so much easier to just iterate it, to just do bigger and better things.
I dare say Chick-fil-A has a chicken club now. So they've added bacon to the club. But I'm just saying.
Branching out.
Right. But they can now. Because that cow, I don't know if you guys remember the cow.
Yeah, that was like eat more chicken.
Eat more chicken. That was brilliant. Because what they did is they drove to one goal. And it made them stand out so much. I don't know, every Chick-fil-A I go to is a line.
Yes.
And so we want to, it doesn't, I know that we feel like, oh, well, that's a different business. No. It's still the same principle. It's driving to your #1 goal. And you have to establish that. And so those data science teams, these data analytics teams, if you have one, you're blessed. That's a wonderful thing in a small business. A lot of people, they just don't have it. It's just 2 people, okay? But if you do, it is your job to educate everyone about what you're doing and get everybody's feedback and buy-in. I didn't just say feedback, I said buy-in. They should literally be like, I want to do this. I got this information, what do you think? And if they're not that excited, then maybe we're not doing what we should be doing. Yes? Yes, that is the idea.
Yeah.
However, if you do have KPIs that are already in place and that you're working with, yes, it's not a concrete, finite thing, okay? They do change. And it is actually your job to push change if that's what's necessary. And because a lot of you are in small businesses, it's actually something you can do. So with that, you say, okay, so we have how many on the table? Just talk about it. How many KPIs do we have on the table here? How many are really working for us? If you tell, let me tell you something. Even with venture capitals, the C-suite, they're going to listen if you say to them, we're spending all this money on all these dashboards and all of these, you have all this you're spending. If you narrow down to this, you cut your budget in half. They'll listen. They'll listen. But it is all about how you what? Communicate. It's all about your data culture and how you're conveying your messages. I'm going to tell you the truth. No matter what you're doing, and let me tell you something. I know y'all are doing fabulous work in Nashville, Tennessee for sure. Okay, fabulous work is happening here. Okay, but if nobody knows about it, and that's the rub. Okay, so now it is your job to tell everybody, because when you don't tell everybody, they're doing what? Making assumptions. They're assuming, the data team is taking care of that, or the data team, or they blame you. No, really, I was blamed for a lot of things. I was a data wrangler, and they were just like, you didn't okay. So, but really the truth is, it's about communicating everything that you do. And if not, finding somebody in your team to be that communicator for you. I think we saw it on another talk. I can't remember. Dan? Yeah.
Yes.
And he was discussing how certain people have a talent for doing that. If you find in your team someone is talented and can go in and talk to everybody, get them on board. Get them to do it for you. You don't all have to do it. Somebody needs to, though. If somebody's good at making newsletters, hey, this is your job for the rest of the newsletter every week about what we're doing here in this team. Okay? It is simple fixes. And I know that it seems like it's much bigger because we're the minds in here. Oh my goodness, the minds. But it is simple. It is simple. And it starts with you utilizing the first step, and that's communication.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, we went through these. Include everyone in your data strategy. We had the conversation about, okay, which comes first, the KPI or the buy-in? Why not both, right? Utilize everybody. Get them all together and say, hey, what do you think, which metrics would be most helpful for us to get towards our goal? Make sure all organization members know how to use the tools. No one and done training, okay? Give people time, do multiple trainings, show them all the things they can do. And then, yes, buy into the data, to the benefits of data analytics. Some final tips: start small, then iterate. Here's my favorite again. I got a million ways to get it. Choose one, right? There are literally a million ways that we can use data to our advantage. More than a billion ways. Just choose one. Start there. Choose one. When you show success in that one, you'll get more support for the next one. You just keep on getting bigger and better and better. Buy in, and then do the work. Do the work. I took this quote from my mom, okay? She speaks about this. She says, it works if you work it. She's a therapist, so she means, therapy works if you work it. There's work that has to be done here. You can't say, okay, data team, build us a data culture, and then sit back in your office. That's not how it works. Everybody has to be involved. Everybody has to do the work to build this thing together. Okay, anything on that? Okay. All righty, so basically we are appealing to you all to start taking some action. You've got your data kit that's available for you to download. Write these things out, sit with your team, and start strategizing about how you can get this done in your own organizations. And finally, we would love to connect with you. We love to talk about strategy. We love to talk about ideas and brainstorm. So reach out to us. Here's our email address. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. Listen, whatever you got, we on there. So reach out to us on LinkedIn and all of those things. We have started a meetup group. So if you're local to Nashville, we're starting the Data Diversity Meetup Group, and this is where we talk about diverse topics in data analytics. So just different HR, we're talking about operations, we're talking about tools, we're talking about marketing, just to get our business owners and our data professionals kind of mixing and mingling and talking about these topics.
This is for our community.
And do that.
So even if you have expertise, we'd love to have you come through and talk, okay? And everybody in here pretty much does. So we're expecting people to help. No, but no, really, it's a community-based thing, and it's free. We just want people to get acclimated to data. It's a big passion of ours because we feel like so many people are not using it, and literally it's hurting them. It's hurting their business, the bottom line, all of these things. So if you want to help out, come see us.
Yes. All right. And final note, we have a podcast. It's called Data Tea. This is where we spill the tea on all things data. So once a week, we do Flash Friday, so 10 minutes or less, and then once a month we do an interview. So check us out, connect with us. You know, we just really want to spread the word about data strategy. We cannot afford to lose any small businesses in America to a lack of, you know, being data driven. So
All right, thank you.
it. Thank you. Oh, it didn't? We'll see if we can get them.
Thank you, Will. I'm so sorry.
I got my MBA in business intelligence, which like touches on the